Hey guys, this is the 16th video in the Great Spiritual Awakening series. Today we're going to talk about what happened before time. One of the deepest questions humankind has ever asked is what happened before time. In other words, what was going on before the universe existed? There are three important reasons why we need to answer this question. First, if we knew what happened before the universe, then we may be able to understand why the universe exists. I think it's important to know why the universe exists, but not even the brightest minds know why the universe exists. Second, if we answer this mystery, we may be able to understand why we exist. Wouldn't you want to know why you exist? And third, if we knew what happened before time, then we may be able to know the future of the universe. These are the three important reasons why we need to know what happened before time. If you ask some of the brightest minds what happened before the universe existed, they'll say nothing existed before the universe. In other words, they don't really know what happened before the universe existed. I believe it's going to take a radical new idea to get a deeper understanding of what happened before the universe existed. In this video, I'm going to present my radical new idea of what happened before the universe existed. But the more you think about my idea, the less radical it will seem, and the more it will make sense to you. This video has two parts. In the first part, we're going to talk about what it means for the past to be infinite, and in the second part, we're going to talk about whether time had a beginning. Part 1. Meet Jack. On January 1st, 2050, Jack broke the world record for the most number of backflips in a row. He did 50 backflips in a row. Now take a look at this timeline. In the middle, you can see the day Jack broke the world record. Now let's say you got into a spaceship and you traveled backward in time. As you can see, we are traveling toward the past. Now here's the question. If the past is infinite, can you travel back in time forever? The answer is yes. You are a time traveler, and if the past is infinite, then you could go back in time forever because time has no beginning. But if the past goes on forever, then that means the journey to the day Jack broke the world record would take forever. In other words, it should take an infinite amount of time to reach the moment when Jack broke the world record. But if it takes an infinite amount of time to reach the day Jack broke the world record, then it's impossible for Jack to break the world record. Think of it this way. Imagine Bob says to you, "I'll give you $1 million after an infinite amount of time has passed." Is Bob going to give you $1 million? The answer is no. If you have to wait an infinite amount of time to get $1 million from Bob, then that means you will never get $1 million from Bob. Similarly, if the past is infinite, then it should take an infinite amount of time to get to the moment Jack broke the world record. But that means it's impossible to get to the moment Jack broke the world record. Thus, that moment should not have happened, and yet it did. The question is, how is that possible? There is another way that the past can be infinite. Take a look at this timeline. In this timeline, the past is connected to the future. That's why this timeline looks circular. In this timeline, history repeats itself because the past and future are the same thing. There were a finite number of events in history, and these events repeat for an infinite number of times. Whether we travel back in time or forward in time, we will reach the moment Jack breaks the world record because history repeats itself forever. So here is the first important lesson about time. The first timeline is impossible. It cannot exist. In this timeline, the past is infinite and all the events throughout time are different from one another, which means history never repeats itself. Therefore, it's impossible to arrive at the moment Jack broke the world record. In the second timeline, the past is infinite, but there are a finite number of events that happened. Each of these events will repeat forever. Therefore, we can arrive at the moment that Jack broke the world record. The only way the past can be infinite is through the second timeline. If history doesn't repeat itself, we cannot arrive at this present moment because it would take an infinite amount of time to reach this moment. But now here's the big question. Is the past infinite? Part 2. Many people believe time had a beginning, and if you ask these people what happened before time, they say nothing was happening because space and time didn't exist back then. But there is a problem with this idea. Let's say this is nothing. Somehow, nothing turned into the universe. The problem is, according to many people, nothing had no changes going on, and nothing had no activity going on because there was no space and time. If nothing is completely unchanging and it has no activity going on at all, then it's impossible for nothing to transform into the universe. Now take a look at this apple. Let's say this apple never changes. There's no movement happening within the apple. Therefore, it's an unchanging apple. But somehow, this apple transformed into a rotten apple. Does that make any sense to you? No, of course it doesn't make any sense. The only way the apple on the left can transform into a rotten apple is if there is activity and changes going on within the apple. You cannot have an unchanging apple that turns into a rotten apple. That's impossible. That's a contradiction. Similarly, if nothing is completely unchanging because it has no space and time, then it's impossible for nothing to transform into the universe. That makes no sense at all. Nothing had to have activity, it had to have changes. Otherwise, it's impossible for nothing to transform into the universe. So, here's my second lesson to you. There were things going on before the universe existed. That means some form of time existed before time. The word time means the changes happening to our universe. Because we're talking about the changes that happened before the universe, we must come up with a different category or type of time. Think of it this way. You have the green tree frog and you have the gray tree frog. They're both tree frogs, but they're very different from one another. In a similar way, you have the time that existed before the universe and you have the time that exists during the universe. They both have time, but there are very different things going on. In the first part of the video, we learned that if the past is infinite, then time must move in a loop. In other words, history must repeat itself. That's the only way the past can be infinite. Now, we've learned that the past is infinite because there was always some changes going on in the past. You cannot have an unchanging thing that transforms into the universe. It's impossible. Therefore, the past is infinite and time moves in a loop forever. History repeats itself, which means the past and future is the same thing. Leonardo da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa in the past, which means Leonardo da Vinci will paint the Mona Lisa in the future. In fact, everything that happened in the past will also happen in the future. Because history repeats itself forever, you will exist in the future, and every event that has occurred in your life will be repeated in the future. The past, present, and future are all identical to one another. This is what infinite time is, but there is a secret that you don't know about. You see, you are not just a human being. You are a soul, and your soul will not experience the same life again in the next cycle of time. If you want to know what you will experience in the future, then check out the 6th video of the Great Spiritual Awakening series. The link will be in the description. This is the most important video that I've ever made. It will clearly explain what you will experience in the future and what your loved ones will experience in the future. What is more important than knowing how you will spend eternity? And what is more important than knowing how your loved ones will spend eternity? Hey guys, if you're looking for a thought-provoking spiritual book, check out The Great Spiritual Awakening. The link is in the description. And in the next video, we will learn about the real you. Click on the thumbnail to watch the video, and last but not least, have an amazing, wonderful day.